This week we're going to look at getting some GFS analysis data from NCEI that we can later use to build some plots for a case study. So we're going to learn about threads data access, navigating the NCEI catalog, and doing a little bit of manipulation with Xarray. Welcome to another MetPy Monday. Hi, I'm John, a software engineer for NSF Unidata. This week, I want to look at accessing some GFS analysis data, so we're going to use that to build some plots for our case study. It's going to be the same date and same event that we've used for our StuV and Immogram plots so far. So I'm going to first, of course, do my imports. Import NumPy as MP, so we can do any array manipulation. Xarray as XR. From datetime, I'm going to need to import the datetime. And I'm going to go ahead and import the time zone object as well. Sometimes that's handy if you want to think about things in local time or convert things to local time from UTC. We're going to be using Siphon because we're talking to a threads data server. So from siphon.catalog, I'm going to import the threads data server catalog object. And from metpy.units, I'm going to import the units registry so we can go ahead and attach those units. So first, I need to go and navigate to the catalog URL for the data I want to access. This is probably one of the more common questions that we get is how do I know where I'm able to get this data? And part of it is you just have to explore. But we're going to go to the NCEI thread server and I'm going to show you the exact path I took to find this data. So we've got these top level data sets. I'm going to go into model. I want GFS. I'm going to the global forecast system. And then here is where you have to start looking around a little bit, to be honest. But I found in the GFS Grid 4 analysis set historical file units that I could get data back. And this is a year-month format. So I could get data back into 2013. And I want May of 2013. And my case study is on May 20th. And here's those grid files. Now you could navigate through all of this in Python. I found it easier to do it through the web interface. And then I'm just going to copy the URL of this page and take that into Python. Okay, so now we'll go back to our notebook here. And the catalog URL is going to be this. And we need to change HTML to XML. Siphon will determine that you forgot to do that and do it for you, but it will issue a warning, so it's nice to just go ahead and do it on your own. Then I'm going to create an instance of threads data server catalog, giving that our URL. And if we look at cat.datasets, here are all the datasets that are available. You can access however you want. In my case, I'm just going to copy the dataset name that I want and say the dataset is cat.datasets and index into that with the name of the dataset. Okay, now I'm going to use the NetCDF Subset Service that lets the server do the work of subsetting the data for us and returning to us just what we need so we don't have to get all the variables and all the geographic area that we don't care about for this case study. So for that, I'm going to get an NCSS instance by calling subset on my dataset. All right, so now we're ready to start building a query. And this is one of the key concepts to the NetCDF Subset Service and part of what makes threads so powerful. The entire GFS data run, that entire grid file, is going to be very large. If I'm doing a bunch of cases or a bunch of studies, that could be a lot of storage burden on me, and I don't need most of the variables from that. The GFS outputs an incredible number of variables over a very large domain, and I don't need near all of that data. So this is where it's really powerful. I'm going to build a query. And on my query, if you need to remind yourself of what all is available, you can just use tab completion, but I'm going to use the lon lat box function. So I don't want to point data, I want a box of data. I'm going to start with minus 125 for my west, minus 66.5 for my east, south 24, and north 50, of course, degrees of latitude and longitude. In terms of what data I want back, I want NetCDF data format back. Variables, you can look and see what all variables are available on a data set and then pull those variable names. In my case, I only want one variable, and it is pressure reduced to MSL, MSL. And I'm going to add lon lat, set that to true, so that it gives me the lat and lon for each of those points in that variable. So now I've built my query. We're going to now go get the data. NCSS.getData, give it my query, and you see how quick that returned. That's amazing. So the server went out, opened that file, did all of that subsetting for us, and gave us back this result to our query. So we get a NetCDF4 dataset back. It tells us all this metadata, where the dataset came from, all the information about it, our geospatial coordinates, and then our variables. So we've got ref time, latitude, time, longitude, and our pressure. Okay, so that looks good to me. So now what we need to do is pull out the things that I'm going to use to make a plot and do my analysis later. So my lats, data.variables, and latitude. And I'm going to use an empty slice to get all of that out as values. Lons, data.variables, longitude, and my empty slice. And then let's go ahead and do pressure, but this is something we're probably going to have to work on a little bit here, because the units are not always in things that are useful that we want. Okay, and that is called pressure reduced to MSL, MSL. And we'll use the empty slice. All right, so lats. We've got a masked array. Okay, and that looks reasonable. Lons. Okay, that also looks reasonable. What about our pressure? Well, these are, looks like, in pascals. We normally want to plot things in hectopascals or HPA or millibar, or however you want to say it. So I need to do a little bit of math on that and want to assign some proper units. The other interesting thing about this, notice the 3 brackets. So I think this is going to have, if we call numpy.shape, I think this is going to have a size 1 dimension, an unused dimension. Yeah, so we've got a shape of 1, 53, 118. So I want to get rid of that as well. We don't need that. You know, maybe we had multiple times or something, but we don't here. So in that case, we're going to use squeeze to get rid of that. And then let's go ahead and assign units, and then we're going to do some math on that to get rid of the Pascal problem. So first, let's use NumPy squeeze. Again, that's going to get rid of that extra dimension. There we go, that worked. But now we need to add the unit information on. Now, I could just go ahead and specify here that units are pascals, but what if I pulled a different model and it had different units? Well, I can use the units attribute on our data variable, and it will say that it's in pascals. Okay, so now I want to change my units to hectopascals. There are several ways you could do this. I'm going to just use Xarray DataArray create a data array of MSLP divided by 100. For coordinates, I'm going to specify latitude is my lats array. Longitude is my lons. Dims. And we have a video on what dimensions and coordinates and what the difference is. If you're not familiar with Xarray, latitude, longitude, and for name, MSLP. Okay, so now we have things that look like they are in hectopascals. So we've now successfully imported this. We've got pressure data, pressure reduced to sea level pressure, and we're ready to take this and make some plots. So we're going to use this next to exercise some more of the new features of MetPy, but this is a great way for you to code up automated gathering of case study data using the GFS or any other of the many models and analyses that are archived out there on Threads data servers. I hope that you found this useful, and I'll see you on next week's MetPy Monday.